The vast silence of space was broken by the slow, deliberate hum of thousands of engines powering an alien fleet. Against the backdrop of distant stars, the ships gleamed like sharp blades, sleek, silver, and terrifyingly advanced. They had traveled light years, guided by cold logic and a mission clear in their minds: claim Mars, the once war-torn planet that humanity had long since abandoned. From their vantage point in orbit, the alien commanders studied the red planet below. Its surface was a scarred mosaic of deserts, valleys, and ancient ruins, silent testimony to centuries of human conflict. The last human colonists had long evacuated, leaving behind the remnants of their wars like a forgotten graveyard. The alien sensors detected no signs of active life, no defenses, no resistance. It was a prize ripe for the taking. Commander Vecker, leader of the Armada, stood in the bridge of the flagship, his eyes fixed on the shimmering orb below. His forearms moved with precision over the control panel as he issued orders. Prepare the landing forces, he commanded. Deploy the recon drones. Mars belongs to us now. The fleet responded in flawless unison. Hundreds of smaller craft detached from the massive motherships and streaked toward the planet's surface, their sleek forms cutting through the thin atmosphere. Vecker watched the live feed as drones scanned the ancient battlefield plains. Suddenly, the sensors began to glitch. Strange energy pulses rippled through the data streams. Readings fluctuated wildly, as if the planet itself was reacting to their presence. Commander, voice crackled over the comm. We are detecting unknown energy signatures, unlike anything in our database. Vecker frowned, narrowing his eyes. What kind of energy? Difficult to classify, they are. Faint, yet persistent, almost like echoes. The alien officers exchanged uneasy looks. Mars had not been the empty prize they expected. Something ancient and powerful was stirring beneath the surface. On the ground, the first signs of this power manifested. From the depths of the rust-colored dust, faint lights flickered like distant stars. Slowly, ghostly figures began to coalesce, translucent. Shapes of soldiers dressed in countless uniforms from centuries past and futures unknown. They moved silently, scanning the horizon with eyes that burned with quiet fury. These were not mere phantoms or hallucinations. They were the echoes of humanity's wars, the spirits of warriors who had fought, bled, and died on this very soil. Each figure carried the weight of 1,000 battles, 1,000 sacrifices, united by a will that refused to be erased by time or death. The aliens observed in stunned silence. Their advanced instruments could barely capture the ghostly forms, yet the figures were undeniable. Are these some kind of defense mechanism? An officer asked. Vecker shook his head. No technology we know can create such beings. They are memories, spirits, guardians. The fleet's recon drones moved closer to the apparitions, but as they approached, strange waves of energy pulsed outward, a tease disrupting the drone's systems. One by one, the machines faltered and crashed into the barren plains. Retreat the drones, Vecker ordered. We cannot underestimate what we face. Back on the flagship, alarms began to sound. Energy surges from the ghosts rippled through the fleet's shielding, causing malfunctions. The alien's confidence wavered. For the first time in his career, Commander Vecker felt a flicker of doubt. What are these ghosts? He wondered aloud. And why do they still fight? Outside, the Martian wind swept across the ancient battlefields, carrying whispers of battles long past, whispers that told a story of human resilience, sacrifice, and a spirit that even death could not conquer. The alien fleet hovered above Mars, caught between their mission and the mysteries of 1,000 human wars that still lived in the red dust. The arrival was only the beginning, as the alien fleet remained suspended above Mars. The mysterious energy pulses grew stronger, pulsing rhythmically like a heartbeat echoing through the barren landscape. Below, the ghostly figures continued their silent patrol, moving with a purpose that defied their ethereal nature. Commander Vecker stood at the observation deck, watching the flickering apparitions with a mixture of fascination and unease. His eyes traced the shadows cast by these spectral soldiers, their forms shifting between moments of clarity and mist. Each figure seemed trapped in an eternal vigil, as if bound by an unspoken oath to protect the planet from any who dared to claim it. Commander, reported Lieutenant Kessa, her voice tense. The ghosts are increasing in number. They appear to be gathering around the old war zones, as if drawing strength from the ruins. Vecker nodded, his mind racing to understand this impossible phenomenon. What do the sensors say? Are they hostile? Their energy signatures are fluctuating, but there is no direct attack. Yet our drones continue to malfunction when near them. It's as if the ghosts disrupt our technology through some kind of psychic field. The alien officers exchanged worried glances. This was no ordinary defense system. It was something far more profound. Determined to learn more, Vecker authorized a small team of ground operatives to descend cautiously to the surface. Their mission was to observe the ghosts directly and gather data on their nature without provoking hostility. The shuttle touched down on the red soil with careful precision, stirring clouds of dust that shimmered in the weak sunlight. The operatives disembarked, armed with scanners designed to detect energy patterns and life signs. At first, the ghosts seemed unaware of their presence. The figures moved like shadows through broken tanks and craters, silent witnesses to battles that had raged long before. Lieutenant Aaron, the team leader, studied the apparitions closely. "Look at their uniforms," he whispered into his comm. "They span every era of human warfare, from ancient conflicts to more recent struggles on Mars itself." One ghost, a soldier with a tattered helmet and a rifle slung over his shoulder, paused and turned toward the team. Though transparent, his eyes gleamed with a fierce intensity that sent a chill through the air. Suddenly, a wave of cold swept over the operatives, and their scanners flickered wildly. The ghost raised a hand slowly, as if reaching out, but said nothing. It was a silent warning, a message clear despite the absence of words. The operatives stepped back, sensing the weight of unspoken history pressing down on them. Back on the flagship, Vecker received live data from the team. "These ghosts are remnants of human soldiers," Aaron explained, "but they're more than memories. They're linked, united by some force that keeps them anchored to Mars." Vecker frowned. Why would human warriors remain here, bound to a dead planet? "The answer might lie in what they protect," Aaron replied. "Our scans detected a large underground structure beneath the main battlefield." Intrigued, Vecker ordered an immediate scan of the suspected site. The fleet's sensors penetrated the surface, revealing a vast subterranean complex, an old military bunker, its walls etched with symbols of human resistance. Could this be a relic of the war? One officer asked. More than that, Vecker said grimly. This bunker might hold the secret to these ghosts' existence. As the fleet orbited above, the spectral soldiers converged near the entrance to the underground facility. Their forms flickered brighter, as if energized by the presence of the bunker. It was clear the ghosts were its guardians, bound to protect whatever lay inside. Vecker's mind swirled with questions. Was this a weapon, a trap, or something else entirely? Suddenly, the ghost's energy surged outward in a powerful wave that shook the fleet. Systems faltered, shields flickered, and alarms blared across the ships. "Prepare for possible attack," Vecker shouted, gripping the railing, but the ghosts did not advance. Instead, their spectral forms merged, creating a towering figure, living monument of human will and sacrifice. The alien fleet watched in awe and fear. Mars was not just a planet scarred by war. It was a shrine to humanity's unyielding spirit. A spirit that defied death itself. Vecker realized that this encounter was not a battle to be won by force. It was a test of understanding. The ghosts were a challenge, silent demand that the aliens respect the legacy of those who had fought and fallen on Mars. And so, the alien fleet paused, caught in the shadow of 1,000 human wars that refused to fade away. The towering ghostly figure dissolved into countless flickering forms, each one a soldier frozen in time, but pulsing with an undying will. Commander Vecker and his officers watched from the flagship as the spirits drifted silently across the Martian surface, their translucent faces set in expressions of solemn duty. These are not mere phantoms. Vecker muttered, his voice low with reverence. They are guardians, bound to this world by something far beyond our understanding. Lieutenant. Kessa scanned the energy fields again. Their psychic energy is unlike anything we've encountered. It's as if every battle fought here, every sacrifice made, has been etched into the planet's very soul. Below, the alien ground team carefully approached the edge of the ruins where the ghosts gathered. Lieutenant Aaron moved slowly, his eyes wide with awe as the spirits passed through wrecked vehicles and broken weapons, reminders of humanity's violent past. One apparition stopped before a rusted warship hull, half buried in Martian dust. The ghost's face twisted in a silent scream, a cry frozen in time. Aaron felt a shiver run through his body. This was not just memory, it was a living testament to pain, loss, and unyielding resolve. Suddenly, a ripple passed through the ghostly crowd. The spirits coalesced into a swirling vortex of light above the ancient bunker entrance, illuminating the crumbling stone with an otherworldly glow. Commander, the ghosts are focused on the bunker, Aaron reported through CUM. Whatever is inside, they are protecting it fiercely. Back on the flagship, Vecker frowned. Could it be a weapon? Something humans left behind as a last resort. It's possible, Kessa said. Our scans show advanced technology buried deep within the bunker technology that could change the balance of power in this sector. Vecker's mind raced. This was no simple conquest. Mars was a tomb and a fortress, guarded by the echoes of a civilization that refused to die quietly. Determined to understand, Vecker ordered a more cautious approach. Send an envoy to attempt communication with the ghosts. We must learn what binds them here. The alien race had no concept of spirits or souls, but they understood psychic resonance. Using specially designed devices, the envoy prepared to project a message of peace and inquiry into the psychic realm. As the message rippled out, the ghosts paused. Their swirling forms shimmered in response. Moments later, one figure stepped forward, a woman in a military uniform from Earth's distant past. Her eyes were filled with sorrow and fierce determination. The envoy's sensors picked up fragments of memories, visions of endless battles, the faces of comrades lost, the pain of sacrifice. The ghost's voice echoed in the envoy's mind. Not in words, but in raw emotion and images. The humans who had fought here did not want conquest or peace. They wanted remembrance and protection. Mars was their final stand, their last home where they vowed to defend humanity's legacy against any who sought to erase it. Vecker's heart, if he had one, might have been moved. Here was a spirit born not of hate, but of unbreakable loyalty and courage. The envoy returned with urgent news. The ghosts were guardians of a hidden defense system, a weapon designed to activate only if the planet was threatened. Their existence was tied to this technology, powered by the memories and will of those who gave everything for their cause. It is a collective consciousness, Kessa explained. The ghosts are the defense mechanism itself, bound to protect this bunker and what lies within. Realizing the futility of a direct assault, Vecker convened a council of his top commanders. "We face a challenge unlike any before," he said. "The enemy is not flesh and blood, but memory and spirit. To take Mars, we must understand the humans' resolve and, perhaps, earn their respect." The alien officers murmured uneasily. They were warriors and conquerors, but this war was unlike any other. It required more than firepower, it required empathy. Outside the bunker, the ghosts resumed their silent vigil, their forms flickering against the crimson horizon. They were the eternal watchmen of Mars, embodiments of sacrifice and strength. And, in that moment, the alien fleet understood. Mars was not just a planet scarred by war. It was a sacred ground, hallowed by the courage of those who had fought and fallen. The ghosts were a warning and a promise that humanity's spirit could never be extinguished. No matter the odds, the arrival of the alien fleet was not the end. It was the beginning of a deeper journey, one that would test the limits of understanding and redefine what it meant to truly conquer. The red dust swirled around the landing site. As a team of alien specialists prepared to explore the ancient bunker beneath Mars' scarred surface, the ghosts, those silent guardians, hovered nearby, their translucent forms flickering like candle flames in a gentle breeze. The spirits watched, patient but unyielding, as the aliens began their descent. Commander Vecker stood at the edge of the excavation zone, eyes narrowed as the team activated their excavation equipment. The ancient entrance yawned before them, heavy steel door corroded by time but still sealed tight. Strange symbols were etched deep into its surface, faintly glowing with residual energy. Lieutenant Kessa scanned the door with her instruments. "These symbols," she said, "appear to be a complex form of human coding layers of encryption, combined with some form of psychic imprint." Vecker's curiosity deepened. "Can we open it?" Kessa frowned. "The psychic barrier is strong. Any attempt to force it could trigger unknown defenses." After a tense moment, the team initiated a delicate process, using a combination of technology and psychic resonance devices. They sought to harmonize with the bunker's energy rather than break it. The air shimmered, and with a slow, grinding sound, the door began to slide open. Inside, the passage was narrow and dimly lit by bioluminescent panels, still faintly glowing after centuries. The walls were lined with databanks, holographic projectors, and machines far beyond the aliens' previous understanding. Lieutenant Aaron stepped forward, awe evident on his face. "This is a repository, a vault of human knowledge and war technology." But it was more than that. Deep within the bunker lay a central chamber, dominated by a massive device unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Its core pulsed with a soft blue light, humming with quiet power. "This must be the weapon the ghosts protect," Kessa said. "But it's unlike any weapon of destruction. It feels alive, almost sentient." As they examined the device, strange images flickered in the room, memories stored within the machine. Battles raged across its holographic walls, human soldiers standing firm against overwhelming odds. Civilians caught in the crossfire, leaders making impossible decisions. The aliens realized this weapon was more than hardware. It was a living archive of human courage, sacrifice, and unyielding will, a psychic engine fueled by the memories of those who fought for their survival. Suddenly, a pulse surged through the bunker, and the ghosts appeared within the chamber, their forms converging toward the device. One ghostly figure, a soldier clad in a tattered uniform, stepped forward and touched the core. The device responded, emitting a brilliant light that filled the room. The aliens watched as the spirits' energy merged with the device, strengthening its power. The ghosts were not just guardians, they were the weapon's power source, bound in a sacred pact to protect humanity's legacy. Vecker realized the weapon could only be activated by the collective will of these spectral warriors. It was a defense, not of destruction. but of memory, an unbreakable shield formed by the souls of those who refused to surrender. But what did this mean for the alien fleet? Any attempt to seize or destroy the device would awaken the full force of the Ghosts, a psychic storm that could devastate their entire armada. We must tread carefully, Vecker said gravely. This weapon is more than a threat. It is a challenge to our understanding of war and honor. Kessa nodded. To defeat it, we must first understand it. And perhaps, to survive, we must respect it. As the team retreated from the chamber, the Ghosts resumed their vigil, their forms flickering softly in the dim light. Outside, the Martian winds swept across the barren plains, carrying whispers of ancient battles and undying resolve. Mars was no longer just a battlefield. It was a sanctuary for the unyielding human spirit, guarded by the ghosts of 1,000 wars, and the secrets they refused to let die. The alien fleet hovered silently above, caught between the promise of conquest and the profound mystery of a legacy they could neither destroy nor ignore. The alien fleet drifted above Mars, their warships battered not by weapons, but by waves of unseen energy. The Ghosts, the spectral warriors of humanity's past, had shifted from silent watchers to active defenders. Their psychic assault was subtle but devastating. Inside the flagship, alarms echoed through the corridors as systems flickered unpredictably. Communications, navigation, weapon controls, nothing was safe from the Ghosts' disruptive influence. The energy waves interfered with electronics, causing malfunctions that spread like a virus throughout the fleet. Commander Vecker clenched his fists as the ship's main display flickered. "Status report," he demanded. Lieutenant Kessa's voice was steady despite the chaos. "The Ghost's psychic field is expanding rapidly. Our shields can only hold for so long. Conventional attacks have no effect or weapons pass right through them." Vecker gritted his teeth. "Then what can stop them?" Kessa hesitated. "We don't know yet, but their power seems tied to their connection with the planet Tand, that bunker. Disrupt the source, and the field might collapse. Prepare a strike team," Vecker ordered. "We'll take out the bunker if we must." The surface team readied their gear, fully aware that this was no ordinary battle. Their weapons, designed for physical combat, were useless against the intangible enemies that lurked in the red dust. As the strike team landed near the bunker's entrance, ghostly figures surged toward them, not with rage, but with overwhelming psychic force. Waves of emotion, fear, sorrow, defiance washed over the aliens. Shaking their resolve, Lieutenant Aaron struggled to keep his footing as the psychic energy crashed against his mind. "They're trying to break us," he gasped. "This is a battle of wills." The team advanced cautiously, their specialized equipment shielding them just enough to resist the onslaught. Still, every step forward felt like wading through a storm of memories, each one a painful testament to human suffering and determination. Inside the bunker, the Ghosts formed a protective barrier around the core device. The psychic weapon pulsed. Brighter, feeding on the soldiers' collective spirit, Aaron's team began planting charges near the device. But as they did, the Ghosts intensified their attack. The room shimmered with spectral light, and Aaron glimpsed visions of battles past, courageous acts, sacrifices made in the face of impossible odds. Suddenly, a massive surge of energy erupted from the device, throwing the team back. The charges disarmed themselves, absorbed into the glowing core. Aaron groaned, but forced himself to stand. "It's no use. This weapon cannot be destroyed by force." Back on the flagship, Vecker paced the command deck, frustration mounting. "We need another way. Fighting ghosts with weapons is like trying to catch smoke." Lieutenant Kessa looked thoughtful. "The ghosts are connected to human memories. Maybe we can engage them on that level. If we show understanding, we might weaken their hostility." Vecker nodded slowly. then sent a volunteer to enter their realm. Someone willing to face the ghosts as an equal. Volunteers were scarce. The psychic assault was too intense for most. Finally, a quiet alien named Ral stepped forward, an empath, trained in mental disciplines, willing to risk everything. Using specialized equipment, Ral projected his consciousness toward the spectral plane. Instantly, he was engulfed in a whirlwind of images wars spanning centuries. Families torn apart, heroes rising amid chaos. The ghosts did not attack him. Instead, they shared their stories, painful and proud memories of humanity's endless struggle for survival and dignity. Ral felt their determination, their refusal to surrender, even in the darkest moments. He understood that their power was rooted not in vengeance, but in loyalty to each other, to their planet, and to the legacy they left behind. When Ral returned to the physical world, his eyes shone with new clarity. "They are not our enemies," he said. "They are the soul of a people who refuse to be forgotten." Vecker absorbed the truth in those words. This war was not won by destruction. It was won by respect, by understanding the spirit that even death could not silence. The invisible war raging around them was a call to change not just tactics, but perspective. Mars was guarded by more than ghosts. It was guarded by the unyielding heart of humanity itself. The red Martian sky stretched endlessly above the alien fleet as Commander Vecker sat in the war room, the weight of recent revelations pressing heavily on him. The ghosts, the ethereal warriors bound to Mars, were no longer mere obstacles to be destroyed, but something far more complex. They were the living memory of humanity's spirit. Anchored by pain and sacrifice, Lieutenant Kessa and Ral stood nearby, sharing their insights from the psychic encounter. Ral's journey showed us they are not hostile by nature, Kessa said quietly. Their aggression is defensive, a shield for what they protect. Vecker nodded, his mind racing. We must find a way to communicate with them on their terms. If we can forge some kind of understanding, this conflict might be resolved without further bloodshed. Yet, how does one negotiate with ghosts? The answer came unexpectedly when Ral proposed an idea to enter the realm of the ghosts again. Not as a visitor, but as a participant willing to offer a pact-binding agreement that acknowledged their legacy and promised respect. Preparing for the psychic journey, Ral immersed himself in mental conditioning. The alien empath would confront not only the ghosts, but the very essence of humanity's wars etched into the planet's soul. As Ral's consciousness slipped into the spectral realm, the ghosts gathered like a tempest of light and shadow. Their forms flickered, their faces reflecting centuries of battle, sacrifice, and unfulfilled promises. Ral spoke not with words, but with feelings, visions, and shared memories. He conveyed a solemn vow. The alien fleet did not seek to conquer or erase, but to understand and coexist. Slowly, the swirling masses began to calm. Among them, a figure emerged, an imposing general from humanity's long-past wars. His uniform faded, but his eyes fierce with wisdom. "I am Commander Ilara," the ghost intoned, voice echoing through the psychic mist. "For 1,000 wars. We fought not for conquest, but for survival, for honor, for the future. Mars is our grave and our sanctuary. To pass this place unchallenged, one must honor the pact we forged with blood and spirit." Ral bowed in respect. "We come with open hands and open minds. What must we do to earn your trust?" Ilara's gaze pierced him. "You must carry our memory, protect our stories, and defend the spirit of humanity. Only then will the ghosts rest and the weapon's power be shared, not feared." Back in the physical world, Ral's body trembled as he returned, eyes glowing faintly. The ghosts demand guardianship, not war. They seek acknowledgement, not oblivion. Commander Vecker considered the implications. To accept this pact meant more than just halting an invasion, it meant embracing a legacy. and becoming part of a story older than the stars. The alien fleet broadcast a message across their ships. No weapons to be fired on Mars. Instead, they would act as protectors, allies in a new chapter. As the fleet descended, the ghosts parted, allowing the ships safe passage. The spectral warriors remained vigilant, but their hostility had softened into solemn acceptance. On the surface, Vecker and his officers met with the ethereal leaders of the ghosts in a rare moment of peace. Words were sparse, but mutual respect filled the air. Together, they unveiled the secret of the bunker. It was a repository of human history, technology, and a psychic engine powered by collective memory. Now, the aliens would help maintain it. Honoring the pact forged in shadows, the ghosts began to fade gradually, their mission fulfilled. Mars was no longer a battleground, but a memorial land, eternal testament to human courage and sacrifice. Commander? Vecker stood at the observation deck, watching the red horizon. We came seeking conquest, he mused, but found something far greater, a connection to a spirit that transcends war and time. The alien fleet remained, not as invaders, but as guardians, alongside the ghost's memory. Mars had become a symbol, a beacon of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of memory. And as the stars shone brightly overhead, the pact of shadows sealed a future where past and present could coexist, bound by respect and understanding. The red dust of Mars settled slowly around the ancient bunker, now quiet and still under the watchful gaze of both the alien fleet and the fading ghosts. The pact had brought an uneasy peace, but beneath the surface, the true challenge was just beginning. Commander Vecker walked through the remnants of human war machinery scattered across the Martian plains. Each rusted vehicle and shattered weapon was a silent testament to the countless lives lost. Stories left unfinished and sacrifices etched deep into the planet's soil. Lieutenant Kessa accompanied him, her sensors quietly scanning the area for any lingering disturbances. The ghosts may have faded, but their presence lingers, she observed. It's as if their memories have woven themselves into the very fabric of this world. Vecker nodded thoughtfully. We owe them more than respect. We owe them remembrance. In the days that followed, the alien fleet transformed its mission. No longer conquerors, they became archivists, guardians of Mars history. The bunkers, vast databanks were painstakingly translated and preserved, revealing humanity's wars not as tales of violence, but as stories of endurance, hope, and unbreakable will. Yet not all within the fleet welcomed this change. Some officers whispered of missed opportunity. Fearing that the humans' ghosts might one day rise against them again, Vecker addressed his commanders openly. We were tested not by fire, but by memory. Our victory lies not in battle, but in understanding. To honor those who fell here, we must protect their legacy and learn from it. One evening, as the twin moons of Mars cast pale light over the horizon, Vecker received an unexpected visitor, ghostly figure, faint but unmistakably present. It was Commander Alara, the spectral leader who had forged the pact. You have done well. Her voice was a whisper on the wind. The legacy of the fallen is safe, for now. But remember, memory is fragile. It must be guarded fiercely, lest it fade into oblivion. Vecker bowed his head in respect. We will carry your story with us, always. Alara smiled faintly, then vanished, leaving behind a soft glow that seemed to linger like a promise. Inspired, Vecker initiated a program to share Mars history throughout the alien territories. Holoships and data transmissions carried tales of human courage, reminding countless worlds of the cost of war and the strength found in unity. Meanwhile, a bunker's psychic engine, once a weapon, was repurposed. It became a beacon of peace, emitting pulses of shared memory that fostered empathy and understanding across species. But as peace settled, a new question emerged. What would happen to the ghosts now that their purpose had been fulfilled? Some feared they would fade entirely, lost to time. Others believed they might transform, becoming eternal watchers, guardians of a memory that transcended physical existence. Vecker pondered this deeply. The ghosts were more than spirits. They were the embodiment of humanity's indomitable spirit, a force that could inspire even the coldest hearts. And so, he made a decision. A monument was erected on the highest plateau, a fusion of alien technology and human symbolism. It glowed softly in the Martian twilight, a tribute to those who had fought, fallen, and lived on in memory. As the alien fleet prepared to depart Mars, Vecker took one last look at the planet below. The ghosts were gone, but their legacy remained etched into the land, woven into the minds of those who had learned their story. "We came seeking conquest," he said quietly to Kessa, "but found something far greater, a legacy worth protecting." Kessa smiled. "The ghosts taught us that some battles are fought not with weapons, but with memory and respect." As the ships ascended, the monument's light pulsed gently, a heartbeat echoing across the void. Mars was no longer a battlefield. It was a sanctuary of legacy, a testament to the fallen, and a beacon of hope for the future. And somewhere in the shadows, the ghosts watched, still eternal guardians of a story that would never be forgotten. The alien fleet's engines hummed softly as they ascended from Mars, leaving behind a planet forever changed, not by conquest or war, but by understanding and remembrance. Commander Vecker stood on the observation deck, his gaze fixed on the receding red orb. Mars, once a battlefield scarred by countless human wars, was now a solemn monument to endurance and spirit. The ghosts, the ethereal protectors, had faded into legend, but their presence was etched into every corner of the planet's surface. Lieutenant Kessa joined him quietly. "Do you think they will truly rest now?" Vecker sighed, a weight lifting from his shoulders. "I believe they will." The pact we forged was more than an agreement. It was a promise to remember, to protect, and to carry forward their legacy. The fleet's transformation from conquerors to guardians had not been easy. Many among the crew struggled to accept the ghosts, not as enemies, but as keepers of a sacred trust. Yet, over time, respect grew, and with it, a deeper understanding of what it meant to fight not just for territory, but for memory. Back on Mars, the monument on the plateau pulsed gently in the twilight. It was a beacon for travelers and dreamers, like a reminder that even amid destruction, hope could endure. The bunker beneath the surface had been transformed into a living archive. Its psychic engine now transmitted pulses of shared history, inviting distant civilizations to glimpse humanity's trials and triumphs. Across the stars, beings from countless worlds paused to listen, learning that war was not just conflict, but a story of perseverance. Commander Ilera's final message lingered in Vecker's mind. Memory is fragile. It must be guarded fiercely. And so, the alien fleet pledged to be the guardians of that memory. Their ships carried the stories of Earth's fallen heroes as sacred cargo, their technology preserving the echoes of 1,000 battles. As they journeyed away from Mars, Ral approached Vecker. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The legacy we protect today will shape the future one where different species can find common ground through understanding." Vecker nodded. "We've learned that strength lies not in domination, but in respect. The ghosts taught us that the true power of a people is their spirit tanned. That spirit lives on, beyond death, beyond war." In the vast silence of space, the fleet sailed onward, a new force dedicated not to conquest, but to connection. And on Mars, beneath the fading stars, the ghosts watched no longer as warriors, but as guardians of peace. Their stories were no longer echoes of war, but beacons of hope. The alien fleet had arrived seeking victory, but they left carrying something far greater, the dawn of a new era where the past's lessons forged the path forward. Mars was a silent sentinel, guarding the memory of 1,000 human wars, and the promise that no spirit, no matter how battered, would ever be forgotten.